How would you like to start this? Just me, I'm Matt, I am Matt. Crazy things happen in life. 5 years ago, I did a little TV show that happened at the exact same time that I started my company, Fidel Gastros, and it was cool. It followed me everywhere, it stressed me out, it was a lot of fun. So years later, we'll fast forward to now, Netflix has just picked up the show. And it's a trip because everyone uses Netflix, and this is Netflix International. I've been getting messages from people around the world, in New Zealand, and Cape Town, and all over the US, and it's kind of crazy, so I thought this would be a lot of fun. This is like special features. We're gonna call this Special Features featuring Matt from Fidel Gastros. We're gonna watch our Netflix show, Rebel Without a Kitchen, and I'm gonna give you some backstory to some of the craziness that's happening, some of the inside shit that I dealt with. I guess without further ado, pop that popcorn, sit back, have a glass of vino, and enjoy my interpretation of watching Rebel Without a Kitchen, 5 years later. What if I cry watching myself cry? That's just fucking weird. New Matt feeling bad for old Matt. Keep in mind, I've aged a bit. I've put on a couple muscle pounds. They're muscle pounds. It's a very stressful life. Okay, episode 1. We're gonna start with episode 1. That makes sense, right? We'll start with episode 1, in the beginning. Like that's how the Bible starts. Okay, so I was actually never a fan of this little musical. I wasn't a fan of the musical intro. I wasn't. I thought it was a little too poppy. I'm more of a, yeah, skater dad. Anyway, I always liked the little maps of Toronto. It always made me feel very proud of our city.
And I can make sandwiches. That's true.
So at the beginning too, it was all sandwiches we did. Luckily my culinary skills have evolved a bit. My hair's a little thicker. The first event we did was the Leslieville's Farmers Market. The premise that we did was all the food that I cooked and sold was sourced right there. I remember she gave me like a bushel of eggplant. I was like, what am I gonna do with all this eggplant? Look at all the eggplants they gave me. It's a lot of eggplant. I don't think my hair's that much thicker there.
I used to be the one-man show that did all the prep and all the cooking and all the menu creation.
All right, well, fuck it. Who needs hair? I had hair all through high school.
Like, that's a lot of eggplant.
There's, yeah, I remember. I called her out. I had a lot more energy then.
What was the deal with the Ole? Because I feel like...
What was it? You know what? It just kind of happened one day. We were doing an event, our first event, and I was like just so revved up with energy. I was just like, yeah. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was Ole. Oh man, loading up that. God bless that old Nissan Pathfinder. That's the kitchen I used to cook out of. I rented that kitchen back in the day. I did look like a child on TV. I'm surprised I'm not on ET Canada's Where Are They Now? Canadian youth. I did look like a boy. No one, you know what though? I'm not surprised that I had to prove myself that much more than, you know, because not only was I young, I looked younger than, I was 26 there. 26, yeah. And I probably looked 21. It's amazing. So if you're wondering what stress does to you, it ages you quickly. All right, so Matt is my butcher. He's one of 3 of my butchers now. He's one of my best friends. I actually helped him open this butcher shop. It's at Yonge and Eglinton. He's a Goomba. He's the most Italian Irishman I've ever met in my life. And this was actually the first kitchen I ever cooked out of. I was so broke when we first started the company. I worked in his butcher shop for free during the day so that I could cook in his butcher shop at night for our own events. And there'd be times where like Kai would come and she'd like cuddle up on the couch or on the chair. We'd leave at 5 in the morning and we'd joke about how the birds were coming out mocking us. They would just be tweeting at us. And beautiful pork belly. Look at the size of that thing. Holy shit. I love how they leave the nipples on the pork belly still. It's funny.
Hopefully this is enough to make 50 tacos.
The boy is still there.
Gotta love a good pork nipple. Like prep days were just grueling back then, man. Oh, look at all the burns on my arm. Jesus. That was very normal for me to sleep at the kitchen. I'd be like, okay, well by the time I clean up, drive home, drive back, that's an hour, I would just sleep at the kitchen because it was an extra hour of sleep. At first, the guy who owned the kitchen thought I was mental, but then when I explained it to him, he was like, okay. There was a rub and tug next door too, I'm just saying. I never used it, I just always thought it was... It's true, there was a rub and tug. The parking lot would fill up, 3 a.m., the parking lot would be filled. Happy foot massage. Big time. You know what? I don't. It was a lot of work and a lot of stress. Like the only thing was I didn't have to worry about like managing staff really. And my overhead was so small. It was crazy. So whatever we made was almost all profit at that point. And then the bread we were getting fresh right from the farmer's market. I'll never forget that. And we like ran out of, I think it's in the episode where we ran out of bread and I actually had to wait for them to deliver more bread from the bakery.
How do you spell baba ganoush?
Jesus.
That is the salted sausage and pepper.
That's a good looking sandwich though. How many sandwiches did I do for this? Holy shit, man.
I told people it'd be expensive than what I normally
Aaron, here I look really skinny.
Everyone else is charging at the market. And if you're over-evaluating your products and something where there are other options, people will just say goodbye to you.
I think it was like $7 at the time. Was I even making any money off those?
Or do I lose $7?
I think I was not making any money then. Food costs.
So I did have to rethink my pricing strategy.
I should have shaved for that episode. I don't know why I didn't.
That is the pork fiesta. It's still pretty quiet.
Yeah, I remember that day actually. We were super quiet in the beginning. And it's funny because we always assume that, oh, well, there's a TV camera around us that'll automatically draw people in. And actually I found that it deterred people a lot of time. Like they didn't want to be on camera.
5 minutes?
Yeah, see, I was right. I ran out of bread.
This bread gets here in enough time that it doesn't completely stop sale. That's a problem.
I'm just always running, constantly running. I move much slower now. The first 3 years of of the company, bread was always my largest nemesis. This whole season, bread is a fucking crippling, aspect of the company. I'm always running out of bread. Back then, when we were filming the show, I didn't know how to preserve anything. I wasn't vacuum sealing things. I'd come up with a new menu every time. I remember the first time I had 2 events in a week, I was like, what the fuck do I do? 2 in a week? I need a week to mentally prepare for this.
Make the most out of this event.
I love that emotional music at the end there. He got it together.
Way to go, Matt.
Too funny. And then the Elvis bust was always with us in the beginning too. You know how many Elvis busts I've gone through? At least a dozen. Now we've just painted it on the new truck. That's it. It's fucking there.
That's a wrap. We are done for the day. I'm gonna go.
I did look like a boy there.
Do a little more work.
Like I'm 26 here. That's still not a boy. 26, you could be considered mannish, right? I looked like a boy. I could have passed for high school. All right, episode 1. That was fun. That was fun. How do I get my star rating up?